All right, so just want to finish up the video.
Okay.
So I have have a couple of more questions. So just looking at your lifestyle in Hamamatsu,
Hmm.
it seems like you enjoy a good degree of freedom. You kind of have a freelance lifestyle, and you can, I guess, get by doing that. You don't work at a Japanese company. So what are the pros and cons of your lifestyle now, living like this? You have freedom. Would you consider working at a Japanese company? And any thoughts on that?
I guess the pro is the freedom. You can sort of not really choose, but you don't always get to choose the projects you want to do because you got to do something. But you get to choose the times. That's really nice, and you get to choose where you work. So usually, you can work at home when you want to work at home. A lot of times I like to get out of the house and take a bike ride, go downtown and find a nice place to work there. So that kind of freedom's nice. And just being able to go at your own pace. Usually if I have a translation project, I'll plan out how much do I have to do each day to get to the deadline, because usually they'll set a deadline. And then I can go, if I go faster than that, I can get it done quicker and then have more free time. Or if I'm feeling sluggish one day, I can get to it and be like, okay, I know I've done enough. So
there's flexibility. You can kind of choose where you're working, and you're at your own pace. But I mean, you still have deadlines and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying that? Do you find it fun, and you have time to study and do what you want to do too?
Yeah, I do enjoy it. It gives you time to study. The drawback, I guess, would be is if no projects come your way. There's like
Any financial problems? Not really.
No, not really any problems. Because what you should do is have a couple things going, a couple revenue streams. So usually one will be if you have a couple things you're doing, one or the other will be busy and the other might be not busy, and they sort of go
right.
So and they even out together to make a living.
Do you ever find yourself having to proactively get out there and find new projects, or do you just continue a long time, the ones you're doing?
Not as much now.
As you make connections, for
example.
example?
That's the thing. Like early on, you kind of have to hustle a bit more, but once you start making connections and doing work, it sort of leads into the next thing. Like I did a lecture in Shizuoka
City.
Yeah, Shizuoka City. And then someone at the lecture then got me connected with Shizuoka City translation work. So like, we need a translation done for this or that. And then because I gotten connected with them through doing some other project, So doing a lecture on, it was like a Japanese education for foreigners in Japan. Doing a lecture on that then led to translation work in another area. So they,
Okay.
that
So opportunities present themselves,
yeah.
and you kind of, things have a way of working out, and it seems like you're enjoying it. Would you consider working at a Japanese company, like a 9 to 5, and then maybe you could do part-time on the side if you wanted or something? Or do you not? I mean, having a boss and like seeing the same people every day is that, but
I thought, like, before I came, like, I really wanted to work at Square Enix and do translation work, like video game translation.
That would be really cool.
That's definitely something I would consider. I don't know. I wonder if I would do well in the company environment, the 9 to 5, the you got to be here from this to there, and I don't know. Like,
overtime.
Rules and structure, sometimes I get a little, I don't fit well. I don't know. I'd like to try it, but at the moment...
I know how you feel every day's hell. Just kidding.
Are you going to show this to your coworkers?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. I love it. It's heaven. It's not so bad, I guess, maybe. But do you like Hamamatsu? And what do you like about Hamamatsu?
Hamamatsu, laid back. The weather's nice, except it's so freaking windy all the time in the winter. Because I ride my bike all the time, so that's... But... otherwise...
Yeah, so do I. It's been windy.
Yeah. good weather, laid back. It's got everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's got the bookstore, the electronics store. It's got restaurants. It's got cafes. So it's got sort of like all the stuff you need.
Is it like your home in Japan?
Yeah, I mean, it's been my home for 12 years now. So,
Yeah, awesome.
yeah, I really like it. Sometimes, if I had to say a drawback, it can feel a little too slow or sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But some people like that.
But yeah, I like it, but some people call it inaka. They say it's like
Yeah.
too rural or out in the boonies, but it's a city. It I don't know. But yeah, sometimes I do get what they're saying.
Yeah.
But
I
I
get
really
what you
like
mean.
it.
Yeah, I loved it. I think the countryside is beautiful. I would
Yeah.
live there any day.
Yeah.
So I guess let me move on to the next point really quick. Just reading off the paper. So I find
Okay.
that yeah, a big part of success
Mhm.
is humility. I think there was a quote or something like the bows that hang the lowest bear the most fruit, or some weird. I can't remember exactly. I'm probably getting that wrong. But yeah, people who tend to be humble and just, I think you're one of those people. You know, so I haven't really met anyone who's gone so far with the Japanese language, the kanji gente tests, and the speaking tests you're introducing me to recently. You do all these and you succeed and you achieve them, but you're really humble about it. You don't really brag or anything, you know. But I think on the other side, maybe deep down, you're kind of a perfectionist. So
Mhm.
maybe you put it on yourself, or you try to prove to yourself. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have an ambition or a desire deep down to do these things, but you don't really put on airs about it. So what do you think about that? There's a lot to be said about that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't
How to put that one?
like
words,
to. Sometimes I feel like in the Japanese learning community there can be a little too much competition, and I don't like that aspect of it. So I try not to I try not to talk about like what I've done or yeah, I don't think Japanese learning should be a competition. And I think everyone has their different learning methods and their different pace for learning, and they're different things. Like, I'm super interested in kanji, and you are working on kanji, but you're also super interested in tea and taking the test about Japanese tea. That's something that I probably wouldn't do, but you would do, and those are our different paths to learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both of those are equally valid and equally fulfilling for each of us. So I think in Japanese learning, there doesn't need to be that kind of bragging or competitive kind of like.
Just doing it because you love it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where your heart's at.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. So, but the speaking test, for example, would you ever do that kind of stuff in English, or is it just because you're interested in Japanese that you do these things? And you're on the radio every week in Hamamatsu, so maybe that is also a reason why you're doing it, to improve your Japanese speaking ability, well, pronunciation and so on, enunciation. But would you do these things in English, or is it just because it's the Japanese that fascinates you?
I guess, yeah, that's why I started it, because I'm so interested in Japanese and because I do the radio thing, and I got interested in narration and reading like short stories aloud.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do that better. So that got me really into it. But yeah, in English, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe some of it ties also back to, you said you're an outsider, you're a foreigner in Japan, but also that brings you some sort of unique position and unique attention.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it in English, it's almost like, well, what would I do it for? I'm not an English voice actor. I'm not narrating audiobooks in English.
Good point.
But in Japanese, I'm doing things in Japanese, and there's that factor of a foreigner getting that, into it in Japanese and going into the accent stuff and going into the proper emoting for different kinds of lines and reading. There's a sort of uniqueness to it that is also exciting.
Okay.
Whereas in English, if I had a specific job in that area, yeah, I'd do it. But do it just to do it, it feels like the motivation wouldn't be there. But here it's like, you know, oh, this is kind of an exciting new area
Yeah.
to explore.
Okay, definitely. That makes sense to
I'm
me.
not sure
I'll watch the
what I'm
video again
saying,
later,
but-
and
Yeah.
I'll listen to what you're saying again later. I'm just kidding. But it sounds good to me, and I'm happy to meet someone who's doing what he loves, and you've helped me kind of find my own path. You helped me find my interest in Japanese language. So thank you very much.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you for coming all the way out to Kakigawa.
Oh, yes, I love.
Yeah, I know you love it.
I was just
here.
gonna say, I love,
You love it.
Kakegawa, and then I stopped myself. I do love Kakegawa, but I don't know why. I almost felt like
We'll rediscover that.
it was too generic to just be like, I love Kakegawa. But
I love Hamatsu.
one thing I do actually do, reason I love Kakegawa, one, the local train, you know, the Tenhama thing that goes from
Yeah.
Shinjohara to Kakegawa.
Right.
It's really nice. And
Beautiful.
it goes to
Dad,
some-
when you come, Dad, I'm gonna take you on that.
Yeah. So I could go amazing scenery. One, that's a great thing about Kakegawa. Also, in Kakegawa at the station, they have those manju,
Manju.
where it's you know, the manju cake on the outside, and then on the inside is bean,
Mm.
and then inside that there's this like what is it, kuromitsu? It's this like
Black honey or something.
black honey, but
Not really that
black
word.
honey. Is it like brown sugar honey
Or something like
I
that,
think
yeah.
that's probably what it is. But yeah, it's super delicious, and for some reason I've only found it here at Kakegawa Station. So
Come on back.
that's another. Well, I'm gonna get it on the way home after this. That's another reason I love Kakegawa. So,
Alrighty. Well, thanks.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time in the videos, and thanks so much. And
Mhm.
until next time. Hoi.
Yep.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Alrighty. So I guess signing off now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jump.
Uh,
Uh.
now.